Hi, my name is Moiz. I am 25. I was born and raised in Sacramento, District 6. May 2019, it's already been 3 years. 3 years ago, I first spoke at this podium because the mayor asked me for leadership. I was reporting back after organizing student climate summits for both university and high school students across the Sacramento region on behalf of the Mayor's Commission on Climate Change as a then student myself. I want to thank Jennifer Venema and Leila Atala for their availability and flexibility with the messy task that you've given them. I recently hosted a youth camp for climate action where I work for at 350 Sacramento, where we talked about defining leadership. At our camp, we used the definition of leadership as accepting responsibility for enabling others to achieve shared purpose in the face of uncertainty. The question today isn't what the numbers are, it's how we'll react to them and what we'll do. What is our shared purpose as a city? I'm inviting you to dream with me of a more livable, sustainable, climate-safe Sacramento that leans into the co-benefits of making our communities a better place to grow up in, a better place to choose to stay in and live in. I'm asking you to lead. Enable your staff with the funding and capacity needed and give them a clear purpose, not a messy 2045, 2030, as best as we can, a clear purpose. Accelerating climate action to 2030. Fund more dedicated climate staff, not just consultants to get projects across the finish line. You need to genuinely coordinate and co-create sustainable urban and land use planning with Sacramento County. The upcoming Measure A is not a solution, nor is it even the city's responsibility to claim as a climate action. That's not your jurisdiction. It's obvious that if our efforts, going back to that definition of leadership, are thought of in isolation, if they're uncoordinated, if they're scattered, they won't be as effective as if they were intentionally developed together. Fund climate more and work with Sacramento County with more dedicated climate staff. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Elizabeth Barrett.
My name is Elizabeth Barrett. I'm a member of the Citizens Climate Lobby. Although I'm speaking for myself, I am a resident of Sacramento and 3 generations of my family live here. Many of the points I wanted to make have already been touched on. I do want to just put in another plug that I'm very concerned about the transportation tax and the implications in terms of the environment. And secondly, that I will echo that 2045 is just a horrifying date. So I understand everyone is doing their job and I respect that, but I keep on hearing about priorities being balanced with resources. And I feel that that is language for some other period of time, not the period of time that we are living in at present. This is a true emergency, and emergencies mandate that everyone is uncomfortable, that unpopular decisions need to be made, and radical steps need to be taken. And as of yet, I'm not seeing this from the city, and this is what I very, very much implore you to do. This cannot be a political time. This has to be a time where we're really struggling for our very survival. Thank you for
Kate Wilkins. Following Kate is Christina Zhang.
Hello, this is Kate Wilkins with 350 Sacramento. I would like to say that this was quite a show today. Based on what I've seen for the last 3 years, I would not call the city of Sacramento a climate leader. Climate leading cities don't say, we don't advise accelerating, that's too expensive. Also, I don't think climate leaders support county transportation measures that will absolutely destroy our chances of meeting our climate goals. This council and staff continues to sell us on workshops and draft plans for the last 2 years. The draft cap that was promised in July was not only disappointing because many measures didn't even match the Mayor's Commission on Climate recommendations, but it was incomplete. I don't remember the mayor and city manager promising an incomplete cap without the adaptation section. Affordable electric multifamily housing is great. Joining Greenergy, great. An electric garbage truck, excellent. Is that anywhere near matching the urgency of this situation? No. Anywhere near the amount of money needed to address the Mayor's Commission on Climate Change recommendations that this council endorsed? Absolutely not. At this point, this is a blatant attempt to distract advocates and greenwash the city's efforts. What I hear, look at this shiny project. What I don't hear and what we keep asking for, when will we actually talk about how to fund this? None of these projects are bad. They're great. They definitely have to happen, but we are distracting from the big issue. Let's have that $1 million for Greenergy come from a new funding source. Can this council please direct staff to bring actual concrete options for how to fund the $3 billion we need for climate? I've been in meeting with some of the council members. You all support climate change. No one will champion how we will pay for this. Please identify funding, act immediately to schedule a council agenda item to discuss and act on specific actionable funding proposals for climate action, and take immediate steps to provide sufficient resources so that the complete climate action plan will not be further delayed and can be released no later than September 30th. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker.
Good evening, Council. I remember October 12th of last year, Mr. Mayor, when you announced that we were going to have this workshop. Now, almost a year later, we're having it. We were expecting it to come at emergency speed. Some of us are wearing red tonight to remind us that this really is a climate emergency. Last year, the Dixie and Caldor fires not only burned more than 1 million acres to our northwest, but they destroyed several towns. And in the last few years, we have had record-setting wildfire seasons year after year. We're not hearing that in the rhetoric tonight, that we face this emergency. I'm going to really quickly, because of the shortage of time, go through some things that I didn't hear mentioned, although there are some good things we did hear mentioned. I didn't hear the term climate justice. There are people already suffering because they're disadvantaged in our economy, and that's connected to race because of our history. And they weren't brought out at all tonight, and we need to keep them in mind and in focus in terms of the programs we develop. Public-private partnerships. We need money for this. We heard that. The private sector has money. You can design public-private partnerships so that they put their money in to invest in these programs. What about the mobility center that I've heard so much about? Let's really bring them into this partnership. There was a document that the Climate Mobilization developed a number of years ago, and we brought it to you all in 2019. I recommend everybody reread it. It's called the Victory Plan. We need the kind of mobilization that's going to change our society the way we had in the 30s and 40s, that changed us from an agrarian society to an industrial society. But now we have to go from an oil, petroleum-based society to a renewable energy society. It's a massive change. It can't be done piecemeal. We have to take on this.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
The serious it is, it requires, and I also.
Thank you for your comment.